if you were born with Chiron in the 7th, there was a time earlier on when there was the realization that partnerships was something that were going to take work. And usually there's an imprinting quite early on that having someone in your life and sharing relationships in general comes with work and comes with ultimately healing, but it does come with almost a sense of sacrifice or a sense of not letting things just happen as they happen. There's a want to either fix the other person, or a want for someone to fix us and help us. But regardless, there is that emphasis there on relationships being the main part in our lives that both wounds and heals us. And I feel like anyone could say that about any relationship. It doesn't matter where your Chiron is. Aren't relationships about wounding and healing? Isn't that what happens in relationships? But I suppose with having a 7th house Chiron, there's a huge, or a much bigger emphasis on this dynamic and on the awareness of what it takes to establish a functional, healthy and healing relationship. So whether it meant earlier on there was a parent that had either a kind of disability, and that could be mental, physical. There was some sort of a wounded parent, basically, that meant you saw that the other parent did what was required for the other parent to work to create some sort of harmony, or to keep things working and structured. And I think it's this projection of wounding, because even if that did happen to you, and then say in the case of if you are the one that tends to heal and fix others, regardless of whether you think you want to or not, that's just something that tends to happen. You're drawn to those that have some sort of issues, or like have some sort of addiction, or broken in some way, and you're being drawn to that even if you're not aware of it. That could also be a projection of your early imprinting of carrying a wound there in a relationship scenario. And if you have this, I think it's hard to feel like, to have like a sort of happy-go-lucky attitude, because you saw, or you know what it means to keep a relationship going when things get hard, and you can almost see straight away the blocks and the limiting factors in the way people are living their life, partners specifically. It's like there is this, in terms of how we all have our filters, there is one filter you have which can just hone in and see that which is broken. And not just broken, but you can also see what needs to be done for that individual. And I suppose on the other side of this, there's this the flip side of that is that people don't always want to be fixed. People don't always want to feel like there's something wrong with them, and that can be almost the negative side here, is unless you're taken for granted for your ability to support and be there and help someone, it's that people can almost shun that want for help and for aid, and so you're being drawn to people, but they're ultimately just rejecting that part, which can be rejecting that characteristic with you. But yeah, it can definitely be the flip side, where you're drawn to healing, and it can be one or the other, and that maybe earlier on you might be the fixer or the healer or the person that wants to help, and then maybe in time the opposite can happen, where it's the healer or the person that understands these sorts of dynamics and relationship discord or imbalances. They can be the ones that you can be drawing in as well, ultimately to help heal you, because as much as the seventh house is about partnerships and others and connected to a bunch of things, but primarily it is about the other people, other things that aren't us. It is still a projection of a part of our psyche. So at one point, if we hold somewhere in our mind that relationships or life in some way comes with pain and comes with needing to perfect and to heal, then we also will, if we're not the one seeking it, we will be attracting it in. So it's like playing like a this or that, like who are you in this scenario? Understanding though that your worth is something that lies outside of relationship. Understanding that your worth is something that is completely not related to how other people perceive you and how much you can help others. Although there is a great growth that comes with this, and there's that there's definitely benefits and room for transformation, but to know that you don't necessarily need other people to sort these wounds. They surely come in handy, and it's something that almost happens like a magnet, and something that you might not even be aware that this is what happens, but you don't necessarily need other to heal. But understand that they will be mirrors, and this wounding and this healing and fixing is you mirroring this outwards based on a belief, and a belief usually based on either role modeling, conditioning, your early experience of relationship. Yeah, so once you have been doing work on yourself, and you continue to, and you no longer seek others to heal you, or you don't seek trying to heal others, once there's a release there, and understanding that healing takes a full lifetimes, it's not something that just takes place over a couple of years, even though a lot of growth can happen in a few years. Once you can relax, knowing things come when they're meant to, and whilst you also are doing the work just for no reason, just sort of ticking away, just doing bits and pieces at a time, then the person that can ultimately come into your life, whilst they can help you heal, it won't be such a strong focus. There will be more of it won't be like a wounding and healing and a fixing kind of dynamic happening. It'll just be like more of a subtle healing and restoring process. So I hope that was useful, and yeah, any questions about having Chiron on the 7th, let me know, and I'd be happy to help. Thank you.